practice, we're holding uh, as is our usual practice, we're holding today's board meeting virtually and broadcasting the meeting live, and a copy of the a recording of the meeting will be available on our website shortly after the meeting. Due to the extraordinary nature of the meeting today, that we're simultaneous translation facilities are not available, and it's the usual protocol in terms of to please excuse us if we're not looking directly at the screen. We'll be maybe looking at papers or a second screen on our desktop. We're scheduled to complete the meeting at 10:20, and obviously in those circumstances there won't be any breaks this morning. If I now crack on with the agenda, apologies for my absence. I've had a number of apologies that have been received from Ruth Glazard, Sam Lloyd, and Sam Hall. Looking around the screen, I think that everyone else is here, so welcome to you all. So there's no further apologies. Declarations of interest. I haven't had any declarations conveyed to myself prior to the meeting. Has anything occurred to anyone since looking at the papers? No. Okay, thank you very much indeed. If we then get onto the main agenda, and as is the usual practice, the first item is to invite Marion Wynne-Jones as chair of the audit committee to give her feedback on the annual accounts and annual report. I think you met this morning, didn't you, Marion, at the crack of dawn to consider them, so I'll hand over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Diolch yn fawr. We've just held an extraordinary meeting of the Audit and Assurance Committee meeting, and I'm pleased to confirm that as a committee we did agree to endorse for approval to the board the annual report and accounts for 24-25. And we endorsed also the letter of representation, which is to be signed by yourself as chair and the chief executive. It was pleasing to note that the audited accounts have been given a very clean bill of health. It's a great set of results and a very pleasing outcome indeed. Now, it's probably worth noting that board colleagues have had several opportunities, both at audit committee and also at private board development sessions, to reflect on the development of the draft accounts and the work undertaken to produce the annual report. And from all that activity, during the course of the last financial year, we've had a very clear sense of the work that underpins the final accounts position, the annual report and the accountability report, which of course also takes into account the feedback we've received both from Welsh Government, Audit Wales and internal audit colleagues. It was also a pleasure this morning to hear about the excellent relationships that continue to evolve between our finance team here at DHCW and Audit Wales colleagues, and that results in a very, very efficient and effective audit process. Committee also wanted to put on record our thanks not only to Audit Wales, internal audit, but first and foremost, perhaps today at this extraordinary board meeting, to put on record our thanks to all the staff at DHCW for an incredible amount of hard work which has brought us to a very positive position today. Now, clearly, there's more work that needs to be done. But I think from all that we've seen and heard this morning, we can take assurance that DHCW will continue to work in partnership with Audit Wales to identify any actions and further areas of improvement going forward. So with that level of introduction, Chair, it's my pleasure and privilege indeed to endorse the annual report, the annual accounts and the letter of representation for approval by the whole board. Diolch yn fawr.
Thank you very much, Diolch, Marion. If there are any questions, it's probably best to pick them up after Claire's introduction of the accounts and then Chris introducing the report. So thank you very much indeed for your work on that and the rest of your colleagues on the audit committee. If I then move on to invite Claire Osmondson-Little, the Executive Director of Finance, to introduce the final accounts to us for our hopefully approval. Claire.
Yeah, Simon, thank you. An important day for us in the finance team today, signing off the financial accounts. So I'm presenting the accounts to the board for approval for the financial year ended the 31st of March 2025. We are recommending the board approve those accounts, and that work stems from the work that we already submitted to Welsh Government on the 2nd of May. And the audit committee reviewed the detailed accounts on the 8th of May so that we could go and capture any queries. The audit, Welsh Audit have given us an unqualified opinion, and they are now looking to certify the accounts on the 27th of June, which is then ahead of the deadline of the 30th of June for the SHAs to be submitted in the Senedd. The accounts have 5 key statements. I don't propose to go through those, and they are accompanied by 57 pages of accounting notes and explanation. And again, they show our performance against our statutory targets. We have 2. One of those is the financial duty, which is the first financial duty, which is for DHCW to work within its resource limits and allocations for both capital and revenue. And DHCW has reported meeting this duty with the accounts, presenting a revenue underspend of 251,000 for the year and a capital underspend of 47,000. The administrative duty relate to the IMTP, which we've already submitted and been approved. There were no material misstatements. There was one amendment to the financial accounts, which Welsh Audit Office endorsed. And I'm delighted actually to be here at the board recommending and happy to take for approval, and again, happy to take any questions, Chair.
Thank you very much, Claire. That's obviously a very welcome outcome to the audit process. Are there any questions or comments? I'm bearing in mind that the board have had an opportunity in the past to look at them in draft form, and obviously the audit committee have looked at them in detail. So lest people think that the lack of questions is a lack of interest, it's certainly not. We've spent a lot of time looking at these accounts over recent months. Okay, lovely. So you've been asked now, or we've been asked now to formally approve these accounts so that Helen and I can sign them off. Are you people happy to do that? Thank you all very much. Excellent. Claire, thank you, and the whole of your team for the work you've done on the accounts. And as Marion said, the whole organisation, because the whole organisation is involved in getting us to a point where we have a balanced, balanced financial position and a clean, supportive audit. Okay, if we then move on to look at the annual report, and I'll invite Chris Darling, Director of Corporate Affairs, Board Secretary, to introduce the 24-25 annual report. Chris.
Diolch, Simon. Yeah, so the DHCW is required to submit its annual report for 2024-25 to Welsh Government following the commencement of the new financial year, and the accountable officer within DHCW must personally sign the accounts and the annual report as part of that process. If approved today, the annual report will go to the Auditor General tomorrow and then go on to be laid at the Senedd. The manual for accounts sets out that all NHS bodies in Wales must publish a single unified document in 3 parts: the performance report, the accountability report, and the financial statements. The overarching requirement for the annual report and the accounts, to be fair, balanced, and understandable to all partners, stakeholders, and citizens who read the report. So the performance report, as board members will be aware, having reviewed it, provides information on DHCW, its main objectives, its strategy, the risks it's facing, and the challenges it's faced over the last 12 months. And the accountability report is split into 3 areas: the corporate governance report, the remuneration and staff report, and the National Assembly for Wales accountability and audit reports. In terms of format, the Chapter 3 guidance from the manual accounts does state that a single unified document in PDF format will be produced, which is what's been included in the pack today for approval. However, as we've done in previous years and as a digital organisation and to improve accessibility, we have produced the annual report in HTML format alongside the PDF version. So once laid in the Senate, this will be published and promoted alongside the PDF version. The 2023-24 annual report had over 4,000 hits. So it's a good way to promote the work of the organisation and ensure partners, stakeholders understand who we are and what we do. There's an annual general meeting planned on the 31st of July. The information from the annual report and accounts will be publicised through that meeting and will open up questions from members of the public, stakeholders around the annual report and the accounts. And finally, just wanted to thank everyone involved in the production of the annual report. The work it takes, it starts in January. So there's 6 months worth of work, and it probably feels longer actually, but there's a task and finish group that meets every other week. That's been led by a head of corporate governance. So really grateful to all the teams that have been involved. It's a collaborative effort, and I think it's a really, really good annual report this year. So thank you, Simon. It's obviously on for approval.
Excellent. And obviously on behalf of the board, I'd reiterate the thanks that you've expressed for the team leading it and everyone else involved in the production of the annual report. It is not an insignificant piece of work to undertake. Any questions or comments? Again, okay, so we are being asked to formally approve the annual report for 24-25. Are people happy to do that? Thank you all very much. I think that concludes the main business of the meeting. Any other urgent business? Nothing has been conveyed to me. I can't see anyone with their hands up. Date of the next meeting. The next meeting we have is Thursday, the 31st of July. And of course, we have the annual general meeting following our public board meeting. So I thank you much for your attendance this morning. A short meeting, but a very important meeting, as is always the case every year. So I'll now bring the meeting to a close. Thank you all very much for being with us.